I was born in 1986, and the 90s were filled with some of the most amazing fast food you could find, and now it doesn't exist. And if you've done the math, that means I am almost 39 years old. Oh my God. So today I'm gonna be making 5 different fast food dishes from my childhood, and maybe this is going to be a nostalgia trip for you as much as it is for me. The first thing I have to make is something I haven't had in years, and this was actually discontinued in 2022, I believe, due to the pandemic and because McDonald's decided to simplify their menu. Now you can take a guess as to what this is, but I'm starting off with granola and a 1/4 cup of olive oil, but if you've had this before, you know exactly what this is. This is the fruit and yogurt parfait. Now, I have a story behind most of these fast food dishes, including this one. I used to get the fruit and yogurt parfait almost 2 to 3 times a week. And the reason for that is because by the time they introduced the fruit and yogurt parfait, I was close to 300 pounds. And I had thought, I wanna lose a little bit of weight. So I'm going to, instead of getting my normal Big Mac or whatever, I'm going to get the fruit and yogurt parfait because it was healthier and it was pretty cheap at the time. You could get the smaller version of the fruit and yogurt parfait on the dollar menu. And that's usually what I would get because I didn't have any money, you know, I would have a couple of bucks in my pocket. But the real kicker is that I would always get this from McDonald's, and I got a different dish, which we're also going to make today, from a different fast food place that was literally in the same parking lot, you know? The granola for the fruit and yogurt parfait is pretty simple to make, and it wasn't an overly complex granola. I don't believe there were any nuts and seeds in it, and I actually think that has a lot to do with a couple of factors. First is cost. Nuts and seeds are very expensive. Fake honey can be really cheap, as well as oats, at the time anyways. So instead, I'm gonna be making a very simple granola, and in my bowl, I have 2 cups of oats, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 cup of honey, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, which is a personal preference, but please feel free to use butter or coconut oil if you want instead, a little dash of vanilla, and a little touch of cinnamon. I just wanna make sure that this is fully coated and make sure all of that granola is completely covered with the honey and the olive oil. Now I do like to give this a taste. You know, people are like, don't eat raw oats. Don't eat all of the raw oats, okay? Perfect. I'm gonna take a sheet tray lined with some parchment paper, drop my granola onto here. Well, I can already tell this is gonna be good. That tint of olive oil I love. I've actually not made it with olive oil. I usually use coconut oil, but this sounds like it's gonna be delicious. Now you wanna spread it out pretty evenly. You can leave some chunks in there, so this way you have the nice chunky granola. But this is going to go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes, and I'm gonna stir it halfway through while I work with the other stuff. Okay, next. This is very important for the fruit and yogurt parfait. The fruit. I mean, like half of the title. Now, I'm using strawberries and blueberries just like they had, but there's something that we have to do to these fruits. I'm gonna be cutting these down into bite-sized pieces, because these are actually not served fresh. I distinctly remember buying the fruit and yogurt parfait in the summertime when I lived in San Diego, and it was always super hot where I grew up. People think, oh, you grew up in San Diego. Wow, you must have loved the beach. No, I lived in El Cajon, and it was dirt. It was all dirt all the time, and it was very hot. So the reason why I loved the fruit and yogurt parfait is because the fruit was always slightly frozen. It was never fresh fruit, or I don't think it was fresh fruit. It always had this icy chill to it, especially if they were busy that day and maybe they sold a ton of them, so they're just kind of pulling berries out of the freezer. So I'm gonna freeze some of this. Gandalf, do you wanna try a blueberry? You want a blueberry? I think you like blueberries, hold on. You've had this before. Yeah, there you go. There you go, good boy. Now that Gandalf has had his blueberries, they're very healthy for you, loaded in antioxidants, very low sugar, and a decent amount of fiber. I'm gonna be putting these fruits onto a plate, and I'm just gonna pop them in the freezer until that granola is done. Now with the fruit in the freezer, this granola is about halfway done. It's been going for about 10 minutes, and all I'm trying to do is move it around just a little bit. This will prevent it from burning at all. Even if you burn it, it's like 50 cents worth of product. Okay, another 10 minutes before this is done. So I went to go pull out my granola, and remember how I said it burns very easily? This was in there for 2 minutes longer than I had anticipated, and it's burnt. So I threw in another batch. Granola, man, it does that. So this is my second, much smaller batch of granola because I was running out of oats. But this is what it should look like when I pull it out of the oven, because it still has to cool down completely. So this is ready to go. That first batch, F in the comments. Now for the fruit and yogurt parfait, I'm using a Chobani vanilla honey yogurt. I remember the fruit and yogurt parfait at McDonald's being incredibly sweet. The yogurt tasted very sweet. The dollar menu version only had 150 calories, but it was also very, very small. I saw somewhere on Reddit, someone had actually worked at McDonald's when they had this, and they were supposed to do 5 blueberries per parfait if you got the dollar menu version. I'm doing a little bit more than that because I feel like we can, and it's actually not a lot of yogurt. This is the dollar menu version apparently. We're gonna keep a little bit to put on top of the fruit. Then we're gonna go some strawberries that are still slightly frozen, which is really nice. That's like 1.5 strawberries, basically all you get. I mean, it was only $1. Then a little bit more right on top, just to help hold the granola. Take some of our non-burned granola. This is what this looks like. Nice and golden now, second time's a charm, I guess. And put just a little bit right on top. That's it. This is my fruit and yogurt parfait. And this is the McDonald's fruit and yogurt parfait, probably the dollar menu edition. Honestly, on a hot summer's day, I would still get one of these. It looks so refreshing and really fresh, but I can also make this for really cheap. So, to each their own. This is just a nostalgia trip for me. Cheers. It tastes almost the same. The vanilla yogurt, a little bit of honey, the fresh, slightly frozen fruit, and the crunch of the granola. Dude, it's so good, but it's really sweet. I don't eat sweet yogurt anymore. Oh, okay, let's go on to the next food. Now the second dish is the KFC Twister Wrap. Now I know there are rumors that this is actually supposed to come back in a different way, and they are testing this in, I believe, Nashville, according to some sources that I had found, but I don't know how accurate those are. Now the Twister Wrap is the other item I would buy when I would eat my fruit and yogurt parfait. I would go to the McDonald's, get the fruit and yogurt parfait, and then I would go over to the KFC next door and get a Twister Wrap. I figured, hey, you know what? It's wrapped in a tortilla. It's probably healthier. And in hindsight, it was still fried chicken wrapped in carbs. Was it healthier? I don't know. But to make my life easier, I'm actually using chicken tender strips. Now, this one is interesting because chicken tender strips are actually a different part of the chicken breast. When you fillet a chicken breast off of a whole chicken, you're gonna have two things. The main chicken breast, and then underneath you have the chicken tender, which is a little more tender, and they look just like this. They're typically more expensive, but at my local market, these were the same price per pound as chicken breast. So I figure make my life a little easier today and just buy the chicken tenders. If you can't find chicken tenders for the same price as chicken breast, just buy chicken breast. You're not usually going to tell the difference. Now to this, I'm adding the Colonel's spices. 11 herbs and spices? Yes, 11. Now they say it's a secret, but it's literally all over the internet. There's enough of them to where I don't remember what I put in this, so I'm just going to tell you. 1 teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of ground basil, half teaspoon of ground thyme, 2 teaspoons celery salt, which is the big one. That's like a lot of the flavor. 1 teaspoon ground oregano, 1 teaspoon black pepper, 3 teaspoons white pepper, which is huge and is used a lot in Asian cuisine. 2 teaspoon ground paprika, 3 tablespoon garlic salt, which is there's a lot of salt in this. 1 teaspoon dried mustard, 1 teaspoon dried ginger. That's what I have in this little bowl. Now I'm only gonna put a little bit on here. I'm gonna season the chicken with some of the herbs and spices, and then the other half of the herbs and spices are actually going to go into the flour mixture. This way it's like double seasoned, It's just how I like to do chicken. Now with the chicken nicely seasoned, we just have to marinate in buttermilk. Super easy. Where did I put the buttermilk? Now, if you don't have buttermilk, you can kind of make buttermilk. You can take 1 cup of whole milk and add 1 tablespoon, I believe, of distilled vinegar. You let it sit for about half an hour and you kind of have buttermilk. That's about it. Now I'm just gonna add enough buttermilk to make sure that this chicken is fully coated. You don't have to fill the bowl with buttermilk. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. Just make sure the chicken is relatively covered. And now I'm gonna let this marinate for about half an hour. You can go longer if you really want to. You could potentially go overnight, but half an hour is usually good. Whoa, oh no! Oh, my egg carton. My defensive egg carton fell into the buttermilk. A lot of people ask me what this egg carton is for. It's literally to keep Gandalf from jumping up on the fridge because he wants to get into the cabinet, which also has a lock on it, because he gets in there and he eats his treats. Now my defenses are down. Serve me well, egg carton. Now while that chicken is marinating, I can get the rest of the stuff for the Twister Wrap ready, and it's super simple. For the lettuce, I'm using a bit of romaine just because this sounds super strange, but my local supermarket didn't have any iceberg. So they had this really nice romaine, and I'm gonna use this instead, and we're gonna be using this for another recipe later on in the video too. Gandalf, This is just, you want a piece of lettuce too? Here you go, hold on, there you go. He loves, I don't know why he loves lettuce. Now the romaine, I'm gonna treat the same way as I would iceberg. I'm gonna split it down the middle and I'm gonna, Gandalf, you can't have, hold on, dude, hold on, get those. I'm so lucky we trimmed your claws yesterday. I know, you're gonna get a little bit more, okay? Just give me a second, please. So I'm shredding the lettuce, so this way it fits really, really nicely inside that wrap, and we're gonna get a little bit more to Gandalf. Shouldn't be having too much. There you go, buddy. Anytime I'm prepping out stuff like this, I'll just take a decent sized container and I'll add my lettuce to one side. And if you were doing onions, you could add that to here as well. And on the other side, I'm gonna add a bit of tomato. Now, the tomato, from what I had saw and what I had read, was diced. You could definitely slice this if you don't wanna dice it. Get off, this is tomato. Look, you don't want this. I know what you're going after. It's that little orange thing over there. So for the tomato, since I'm dicing it, I'm gonna cut it in half. Then I'm gonna kind of treat it like an onion, where I'm gonna slice it a couple of times, and then I'm gonna slice it like this. Then we have some diced tomato. I know, this is really hard for you, isn't it? Can I cut the tomato? Can I cut the tomato, please? He's so demanding. No, I'm cutting. You already saw what it was. It's just tomato. You don't even like tomato. Stop it. Stop it, I'm never gonna get anything done. Okay, diced tomato is done with the help of Gandalf. I'm gonna pop this right over here, and what's great is that these two items are going to be used for another dish later on, so that's really helpful. Now this also gets cheddar cheese, specifically shredded cheddar cheese, but I have this like little cheese snack. I've been snacking on like a piece of cheese for like the past week, so this is what's left of it. I'm gonna slice this up just a little bit, because we only need enough for one. You will get cheese snack. I know, this is the cheese tack. I know, you're gonna be very aggressive with cheese tacks. Here, cheese tacks. He didn't even hesitate. Usually he's just like, oh, what is this? So this is blueberry. You've gotten so many snacks today, buddy. That's it, no more, no more. Mama's gonna get mad. So I'm gonna finish slicing this real quick, get it out of Gandalf's reach. No, Gandalf, no more. Put this over here and we're done. No more cheese snacks. That's it, get away from me. No, that's it, cheese, done. Now the sauce for the Twister wrap is supposed to be relatively simple. They call it a pepper mayo. I found a few different variations, but I'm gonna go with this one. It's about 2 tablespoons of mayo, and I'm using Kewpie mayo, which is a Japanese style mayo. To the 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, I'm gonna add about 1 teaspoon of black pepper, so quite a bit of black pepper. Then I'm going to add just a squeeze of lemon juice. This helps break it down and add just a bit of acidity to this. There are other recipes where say to use Worcestershire sauce, but I'm choosing to use the lemon because I think the acidity will be really, really nice. Give this a mix and that's pretty much it. Just a high concentration of black pepper held together with mayonnaise. Now to bread the chicken for the KFC Twister wrap, it's pretty simple. And this is going to be a very similar style to another dish we're making later today, but this is gonna have the Colonel spices in it. So I'm taking the Colonel spices and I'm placing it into the flour this time. This is the other half of it that we had made. Gonna give this a quick mix, make sure the spices are incorporated into my all-purpose flour. And then I'm gonna take my marinated chicken strips, which are these guys, and I'm gonna put them directly onto the flour. Since they're so small, I can probably just put all of them down at one time. Yeah, we're just gonna do that. That's gonna make life so much easier. Gonna mix this up, and no, I don't have a dry hand and a wet hand. Usually when you're breading this stuff, you separate it, but it's such a small amount. It'll be okay. Then once they're kind of dredged with all of the flour and they're fully coated, you can take a little bit of the buttermilk and add it back in. You don't want to put too much, otherwise it's going to turn into sludge. Just so you have kind of buttermilk bits in there, you know? And now these are pretty much ready to deep fry. So again, if you have chicken tenders at the same price as chicken breast, buy these. Now to deep fry the KFC Twister wrap is super easy. I have just a little bit of oil here, which I've already kind of preheated. And I like deep frying in a wok, just because the wok has this nice like concave shape to it, so it's very easy to deep fry stuff in. If you don't have a wok, you can just use a shallow or a pretty deep pan, something like a cast iron works really well. Just be careful. Make sure you don't overfill anything with oil. Now this is heated up to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's okay because I'm putting in this chicken all at once, and so it will cool down the oil. Realistically, I want to fry these between 350 and 375 Fahrenheit, so we get a nice golden color and they're cooked all the way through. Now, alternatively, if you don't want to deep fry or you don't feel comfortable deep frying or you want something slightly healthier, I highly recommend using an air fryer, only because you can fry it in the air fryer. But if you do air fry, Do not use flour mixture because flour mixture tends to burn in the air fryer before it gets golden crispy like this. So instead use something like panko breadcrumbs or cornflakes. Those two work really well in the air fryer. Now this does take a few minutes, so make sure you are switching these up and flipping them halfway through the cooking process. You might have to flip it one more time, but because I'm shallow frying them, I do have to flip the chicken. If this were a full deep fry where the oil was completely covering the chicken, you probably don't have to flip them. I will say, it smells fantastic. This smells so good. Now, once the chicken is nice and golden brown, this is where I'm going to remove it from my fryer, and I'm gonna place it onto this sheet tray with a little resting rack on it. This way I can drain any excess oil and the chicken can cool down just a little bit. Now all that's left is to assemble our twister wrap. The twister wrap only has a few components and one of them is a tortilla. And I'm just gonna heat it up on this. You know, if you wanna be a little bit better, you can maybe use a pan to heat this up so it's nice and even, but I'm just using this and that's it, you know, little kiss of fire. Then we're gonna take some of our black pepper mayo and just kind of put it right in the center. Then a little helping of lettuce. I'm kind of stacking everything right in the middle. Then some of these cut tomato, and I'll do 2 pieces of our fried chicken. This is actually a lot. I don't know if you would get 2 pieces. Will this even close? Oh, it will close. Yes. And there is our KFC twister wrap. Look at it, it's like a little newborn baby. It's so happy to see you right before you bite it in half. Admittedly, this is way more substantial than I remember them being because this got 2 pieces of chicken, whereas the one before I would buy was maybe 1 piece of chicken, but it was also really cheap back then. My mouth is kind of watering. Oh, I forgot the cheese too. Oh, we almost forgot there's no way. Oh, how could you? Sacrilege, now it's ready. Oh my goodness. The lettuce is already on there. Now I have to warm this up. Oh, stupid move. Rookie mistake. Things happen, just like that granola. Gonna do a little bit, just to kind of warm the cheese up without hopefully burning anything else. Okay, that should be good. Oh, can you turn off? Now it's ready. Now we can take a big old bite of the twister wrap now that I've added cheese. It has everything it needs. Cheers. There's something about KFC style chicken just wrapped in a tortilla that does bring me back to childhood, which sounds really strange, but eating one of these before going to the LAN center to playing Warcraft 3 as a teenager in the middle of the summer, good times, man. But now we gotta go on to the next dish. Now the next dish was made a while ago, but discontinued between 2011 and 2013. And this is the spicy McDonald's popcorn chicken. Apparently this was made to compete with KFC's version of popcorn chicken. And I think the similarities are actually kind of interesting. I'm taking some chicken tender and/or chicken breast if you have it and adding it to buttermilk. But this time the buttermilk is going to be seasoned a bit differently than how we seasoned it for KFC because we obviously don't have the Colonel's 11 spices at McDonald's. I'm cutting these into nice bite-sized chunks, trying to keep them as even as possible. Now to make the chicken spicy, there's only a couple of spices used. One of them is white pepper, which is going to be about a full teaspoon of white pepper, a little paprika, which isn't spicy, but it does give it a nice flavor and give it a distinct color that some people might associate with spicy, which is the red, and then a teaspoon of black pepper. Now it is debated as to whether or not there was cayenne or other chilies in here, but there wasn't a determining recipe or factor that I found, so I'm going with these 3 because they are pretty common, but if you want more spice, you can add some cayenne or chili flake as well. I think the reason why I like this, because I remember having this sometimes after we would work, and granted, I worked in a full-blown nice restaurant, but sometimes you just want a McDonald's. So the guys and I would just go to McDonald's after work down by the beach because I worked by the bay, and we'd have a little McDonald's. And I remember having this one time, just one time, and it was pretty good. What I find interesting though, is that you can find versions of this kind of chicken outside of the US. You can also, I still think, find it at KFC, Family Mart in Japan, where you can buy popcorn style chicken, but it's just called karage, and you can get a nice little sauce with it. It's super delicious. So I'm also going to show you 2 different sauces you can use for this. Granted, you could probably just ask them for extra sweet and sour and they'll probably say no, but you know, you can try. Give this a toss, make sure it's fully coated. This is gonna be so simple and so delicious. It's just a bucket of little bite-sized chicken pieces. Don't you want that? Oh, also make sure this is seasoned before we deep fry it. You know, I'm just gonna re-massage this so it's nice and seasoned with salt. Now remember the oil that I used for the KFC twister wrap? I just added a little bit more and reheated this. I wanna make sure my oil is around 350 degrees, so this way it doesn't get too golden delicious. All right, we're at 360. That should be okay, because once I add the chicken in there, it should cool down just a little bit. Personally, I like popcorn chicken more than just a fried chicken tender. And the reason is because it's more fun to eat and it feels like you get more of it. I don't know, what would you prefer? Chicken tenders or popcorn chicken? My answer is definitely popcorn chicken. I think it's super fun. It is more work. It's definitely more work because you're cutting more chicken, you're seasoning more chicken, you're frying more chicken, but it's so worth it. Now I'm just gonna cook this until they're nice and golden brown. When you're frying the chicken like this, I do like to make sure I move it around just a little bit so this way none of the pieces are not covered in oil. I know there's not a lot of oil again because I don't like wasting oil, so I try to do as little as possible. Now after about 5, maybe 7 minutes, my chicken is golden brown and delicious. I'm gonna remove this from the oil and place it right onto the same rack I cooled down the other chicken with. Look at that, it looks beautiful. Now to plate these things up is super simple. Usually it would come like in a really cool McDonald's like bucket thing, which I don't have, so I just took some parchment paper and I kind of folded it in a very poor way. This is just so that the grease doesn't pool in the bottom of this bowl. Like if you were to put fried chicken in the bottom of any kind of ceramic or glass, you have a chance of it leaching to the bottom, then you just have a pool of grease. Look at that, that's just, why doesn't McDonald's have this anymore? It looks so good. Look at those little morsels of freaking chicken. I don't know, I'd be pretty happy to order this. This looks delicious. The color is super nice. It has a nice texture to it. But now I actually need sauce because you don't want to just have chicken like this. I mean, you could if that's what you want, but you need sauce. And the two sauces I made are a thickened teriyaki glaze and a tangy spicy mayo, both of them thanks to Cooking with Chaos, my brand new infinite recipe card system. Cooking with Chaos is a collection of 60 different recipe cards that you can mix and match to make brand new meals every single time with 20 different varieties of sauces, proteins, and side dishes. I've been working on Cooking with Chaos for the past 3 years to get you excited about food again. And in this case, I'm using just 2 different sauce cards to dip my chicken into. This is fantastic for parties or get-togethers, where if you just need something a little bit extra to complement your meal, you can pick Cooking with Chaos. Combine a different protein, a sauce, and a side to make a brand new meal, or use the cards individually. The choice is honestly yours. I'm never going to yuck your yum, so if you want to try something off the wall with this fried chicken, please go for it. But let's say you don't want to pick that day. Well, that's okay because each Cooking with Chaos card actually comes with a 20-sided die mechanic in the top corner where you roll a D20 or a 20-sided die and you just make whichever number comes up on that die. Then you pick a protein, sauce, and a side for each die roll and just make the meal and let chaos decide your fate that night for dinner. But maybe you're someone who's counting their macros or the calories, but don't worry, I got you covered. On the back of each card, on the bottom, are macronutrients right down there. So this way you know exactly what you're eating per serving. I have that information on every single card. You have the full ingredient list on the front and the full instructions on the back. I made this because this is how I like to cook. This is how I would make recipes in a kitchen, by trying different things with different things to see if we can make something entirely new. And now I want you guys to make something entirely new with Cooking with Chaos, to create a dinner that your family is very much going to love. And don't take it from me. Look at everybody else who's been making different dishes with Cooking with Chaos. Go to cookingwithchaos.gg at the description down below, or use the QR code on screen to order right now, and you're going to get the first edition box with 60 different cards for you to pick and choose from and mix and match. So if you want to support the channel directly, head over to cookingwithchaos.gg at the link down below, or use the QR code on screen. I think you're gonna love anything that you make out of here, and maybe you're gonna make a combination you've never had before, and I'm really excited to see it. Let's try some of this McDonald's spicy discontinued popcorn chicken. I'm gonna try it on its own because it looks fantastic. Cheers. That's just a good piece of fried chicken. It's really good on its own, but you know, McDonald's is all about the sauce. So I'm gonna try, this is, you know this is gonna be good. Tangy spicy mayo with garlic and sriracha and lemon juice and mayonnaise. Oh, oh. As soon as it touches your tongue. Oh my God. Oh, okay, hold on. What about the teriyaki glaze? A little sweet, a little salty. It's gonna be very different than the spicy mayo. Oh my God, look at it. Come on. The flavor profile changes completely depending on which sauce you get. Hold on, hear me out. What if we do a little bit of this, and we do a little bit of this? I don't know if this is gonna be good. We're discovering this in real time. Now we have a tangy, spicy mayo teriyaki sauce. Here we go, and try it. Cheers. The sweet and the spicy, pretty damn good together. This is a winner, but we still have 2 more foods to make, and we're gonna be moving on to the next one right now. Now, this next dish does have a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people, and it was actually requested by my wife. You can also get this from time to time, and it's currently on their menu, but a lot of the time they just remove it for whatever reason. And that menu item is the Mexican pizza from Taco Bell. Now, I've maybe only had a bite of this once or twice, and it's usually because my wife would buy it and I would just take a little piece from her, but that's about it. Yep, stole your pizza. So to make this Mexican pizza is super simple. We have McCormick taco seasoning. You have to use taco seasoning. Don't try making your own seasoning. Just go buy taco seasoning. Taco Bell actually makes a seasoning, but I couldn't find it, so we're using McCormick's. Canned refried beans. You can tell because it's still can shaped. The Mexican cheese, which is basically Monterey Jack and cheddar. Diced tomato. Enchilada sauce. They call it Mexican pizza sauce. And of course, ground beef. Now, what's great about Taco Bell is that they really only have like 4 ingredients within each restaurant, and they just package them differently. Kind of like these YouTube videos where everything's kind of the same. Okay, here we go. And because of that, that means this ground beef I can actually use for another recipe I'm also making today. Now, while this oil is heating up in my cast iron pan, I'm gonna take this le beef. This is actually 93% lean ground beef, which is much leaner than Taco Bell, but that's okay because I bought a 3-pound log of this, so I'll just use it for other stuff aside Taco Bell. I'm gonna season this very heavily with the McCormick taco seasoning. I have no shame. I'll use their stuff. I grew up on it, you know? My mom would make hamburger helper with McCormick seasonings. It's all good. I'm gonna mix this very, very well. Make sure all the spices are incorporated throughout this meat. Let's see if this is hot. This is not hot enough. No sizzle, no good. Maybe now? Yes. Oh God, that was almost bad. So the way I like to brown ground beef like this, especially for Taco Bell tacos, because we do use this kind of often. I actually really like making stuff like this. I like to spread it out, get it fairly thin in the pan, and just kind of let it get some color, get a little crispy, get that Maillard reaction going. Almost like you're making a big hamburger. But you can't leave it like this for too long because then it'll actually turn into hamburger shape, and you don't want that. Because Taco Bell is like, I swear they take Taco Bell meat and they put it into a blender and then there's your burrito. Now after maybe about 2 minutes or so of browning on one side, this is where I'm gonna start flipping it. And you can see, look at the color that you're starting to get onto that ground beef. It's really nice right now. That's when I'm gonna flip it. The little chunks. Oh, it smells so good. One of my really good friends' mom, she used to make us tacos on taco night that were like this. You know, they were some of the best. Now this is where I aggressively mix everything to try to get it into smaller bits. Otherwise, you're gonna have big chunks of taco meat. We don't want that. So I guess even though this is not a nostalgic item for me and it is for my wife, I guess the taco night very much is. We used to go every week. Good times. Once you've broken up the taco beef, this is pretty much it. This does not take long to cook. What's also great is this is a fantastic idea for meal prep. Cook up 3, 4, 5 pounds of this ground beef with the taco seasoning and use it for breakfast burritos. Perfect meal. Now this is done. Look at that, so fast. Only took a couple of minutes. Just a little taste. That's Taco Bell. Now the refried beans, they just go into a pot, you know, just like, what do you want from me? Just at least break it down. I just get so much beans in one can. Now realistically, you're just warming these up. The fats in the refried beans are nice and cold, and all we're doing is activating the fats and reheating the beans. This way they'll be easier to spread later. But personally, I add just a touch of water, just a little bit. Helps kind of like loosen everything up a little bit. God, I ate so much refried beans growing up. They're so cheap. If you get like a lower fat version, they're relatively healthy. You get this plus that ground beef, which is 93%, a little bit of cheese and some enchilada sauce. There's your breakfast burrito. Make like 40 of them. Got good fiber, good protein, good flavor, done. Now this is done. That's it, refried beans. Oh God, I almost lost my beans. Oh, that's hot. God, molten lava over here. I'm gonna put this over here so we can finish heating up our Mexican pizza sauce. Now we do like Las Palmas enchilada sauce, but there's also La Victoria, I believe it is, which is also really good. Pick your poison there. They're like $2 for all of this. It's nothing. I'm just gonna open up this can a little bit because I don't need the whole can. And yes, this knife is only about $20, so please don't do this with a nice knife. You see that knife back there with the blue handle? That was custom made by a friend. I will never use that knife for what I just did. Enchilada sauce, we're just gonna heat up kind of what we need. And then the rest of it, I'm probably gonna use for some chicken breast meal prep. Now to heat up enchilada sauce out of a can, you guessed it, you just put it over fire until it's hot. Now here's something I haven't done yet, but just makes perfect sense because I've used this technique for corn tortillas as well. You take 2 flour tortillas because Mexican pizza has 2 shells. It's more of like a stuffed crust pizza than it is like a real pizza. I digress. We're gonna take 2 flour tortillas and I'm just gonna lightly spray them with pan spray, okay? You can just brush oil onto this as well. That's totally fine. I'm just using pan spray. And then I'm gonna take 1 tortilla and put it in the air fryer. Yes, and I'm gonna spray the other side. Now they probably deep fry these in a big commercial deep fryer that keeps them really flat. And you could deep fry them if you want, but air fry, it's super easy. Now I'm gonna air fry, oh, this looks like butt cheeks on my cutting board now. What did I just do? What is this? Look at oh, this is a weird day. I'm losing it. I mean, look at how crispy that is. It's nice and golden. It's a little oddly shaped, but nothing a little filling can't fix, maybe? Oh, okay. Let's get the other one in. Now, like any pizza, we're gonna do sauce right onto the tortilla. Get a nice coating on there. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be that fancy. It's fine. And then the cheese, which is technically beans. I'm gonna spread this very carefully now so I don't crack our tortilla shell. Our pizza crust. Oh God, this looks so good. Oh God, why I wore an apron today. That's probably never coming out. Then we take the seasoned beef, load it up, maybe Taco Bell might be stingy. Can't be stingy today. A little more sauce right on top for good measure. Then I'll take the second tortilla, nice and crispy. Look at that. Now this gets topped with a ton of cheese. I'll put that right on top. Now the one thing with Taco Bell, a lot of the time, I feel like the cheese never actually is like fully melted. It's just kind of put on there and then hoped for the best unless it's on the inside of the food. So in this case, we have the power. We have the technology. Just a little, just a little bit. I actually see this being a problem because the toasted tortilla can burn very easily before the cheese melts, and they're more than likely not using a hot, crispy tortilla. It's probably just in a bag, like a tostada shell would be that you could find at your local Mexican market. There we go, melted cheese. Then, fresh tomato. Oh, this looks so good. Perfect. I think my buddy Josh from Mythical Kitchen would be proud of this Mexican pizza. Look at it. It's like 1-to-1. Other than it looking like a flying saucer that was having a hard time on re-entry, this looks pretty great. Now I'm gonna try a bit of this, but realistically, I made this because my wife wanted it. Let's see if she likes it. Take a big old chunk. Let's see, it's still super crispy. Oh yeah, yeah. How do you even eat this? Who designed this? Is this why it's barely on the menu? It like comes and goes? Oh my God. This is just tostada with more steps. Yep, look at that. Mexican pizza, baby. This is gonna be every flavor I've ever come to know at Taco Bell. Cheers. Hold on, it's missing one thing. You wanna see the realest thing in this house? Is my pint cup of Taco Bell sauce. Well, there's Heinz ketchup in there too. But like, my wife likes Taco Bell. I don't mind it either. So we're gonna take some of this Diablo sauce. Oh, you gotta have, and some fire sauce. Oh, okay. Now we're talking. A little bit of fire sauce on the whole packet. It has to actually go on. There we go. Now we take the bite with our fire sauce. That's Taco Bell, baby. Hold on, Diablo sauce. I'm just using a fork at this point. Oh, good. You want some? You gotta have it with Taco Bell sauce though. It's pretty close. The tortillas are a little crispier than they should be.
Okay,
but I figured it was closer to like a tostada, like a double-decker tostada, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Hold on, because you're wearing white. There you go. Now this is how you eat Taco Bell, okay? But here, I'm just gonna hold it for you. Yeah, because you're gonna get Taco Bell sauce on your white shirt. There, all better. Okay, you're welcome.
For my singular bite.
Hey, you never know, okay? Is it pretty close?
That's pretty close.
Right, it's pretty close. You added hot sauce? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to add the hot sauce.
Earthy? It still needs more enchilada sauce.
More enchilada sauce.
Because theirs comes with like a lot.
Does it?
It's pretty wet.
There you go. More enchilada sauce that you have tried again. I guess that's how it should be. I was being pretty conservative, I guess. I've been feeding her all of the food I've been making today, so.
Really full.
You've had popcorn chicken, you've had parfait, you've had a twister wrap. You asked for more enchilada sauce. You have to at least take a bite with more enchilada sauce. Looks good with more enchilada sauce. Better? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is not something that I would normally get from Taco Bell. I know you've ordered them before. Mm-hmm. I'm more of just like burrito or taco guy.
I'm a Crunchwrap Supreme girly. Right?
Yeah.
It needs more enchilada sauce.
Okay, last food. Now the last dish I'm going to make is also from Taco Bell, but not because it's nostalgic to me, just like the Mexican pizza wasn't. This is actually nostalgic for one of my best friends, and he recommended this dish, which hasn't been around for a long time. It was introduced in the 70s and I believe discontinued around 2010 or 2012. And this is the Taco Bell Enchurrito. I never knew this was a thing that existed until he told me about it. So I'm excited to try it. And what's great is that it's literally the same, they're the same ingredients as before. Basically, there's like 2 extra ingredients, let's be honest. We're gonna heat up the tortilla like your grandmama taught you. Then we take our meat. Place a good helping of this because this is going to be essentially a wet burrito. This is something that I love ordering at different restaurants if they have it, because I like eating them this way. Then we do enchilada sauce right on top of the meat. Then we do a couple of dollops of black bean right on top of everything. Oh, that's a lot of bleak. It's fine now, can't go back. And then this one in particular gets a little bit of diced white onion, which is pretty traditional for enchiladas. And then a little bit of the shredded cheese on the inside, and we're gonna put more on the outside. Now in any of the media that I had seen for this, they served it on a plate or in a to-go container that had a little bit of a lip to it. So I'm gonna try to fold this up. Maybe this tortilla is a little bit small. Maybe they use an 8-inch tortilla. It's fine, this is the dollar menu now, okay? 6-inch tortilla. Flip that right onto the plate. Then we completely drown it in enchiladas. Oh my God, wet burritos, man, the best, literally the best. There's this restaurant in San Diego. It started in San Diego, now there's quite a few of them. They're called Snooze, and it's actually a breakfast restaurant. They have one of the best breakfast burritos that you could ask for Christmas style. And when you say Christmas style, they give you green and red enchilada sauce on it. If you ever go to Snooze, try it out. Fantastic place, and they have some of the best pancakes I've ever had. You know, just try it out, please, try it. Then a little bit more cheese right on top. And because we have the technology, we're gonna melt the cheese this time again. Okay, now, if you need more cheese tacks, is that why you came over? You wanna come up? You wanna come see? Come here, come on, come here. There you go. Yeah, ow, ow. Now this also got just 3 halves of olives, or 3 pieces of olives, just like that. This is the Taco Bell Enchurrito. I've never seen this on their menu, and I think that's kind of a miss. All you really need, Taco Bell, is a little vat of enchilada sauce. Add it to 2 or 3 different menu items. Bring some enchilada stuff back, you know? It's so beautiful looking. I want to devour it. Let's just taste test this. I'm gonna cut this bad boy right down the middle. Gandalf, no. You had cheese already. I already paid the cheese tax. Let's see what the inside looks like, shall we? Oh yes, Gandalf, stop. I already gave you cheese. I already gave you the cheese. No. Now I'm gonna try this without Taco Bell sauce first, which is probably a severe mistake. Bite looks good though. Cheers. It tastes almost exactly the same as the Mexican pizza without any of the texture, which is fine because the flavors are great. This is Diablo sauce. You can't have Diablo sauce, dude. But now I'm gonna put whole thing of Diablo sauce right on top. Gandalf, no, here, you can look. You're being real aggressive now that you see the cheese. Okay, buddy, nope. Benched. Now I can try it with the Diablo sauce. Cheers. Just flat out. Remember how I was talking about how you could make breakfast burritos or meal prep some burritos? Do this, just maybe don't cover it in sauce. Fantastic. I'd eat this all day. Now, I wanna know what your favorite fast food nostalgic item is. Mine was definitely the fruit and yogurt parfait because it reminds me of summertime and it reminds me of playing Warcraft 3 at a LAN center with friends. But I know that's such an odd one out. So if you have one that you love, let me know in the comments down below and maybe I'll be making some of your favorite fast food items from your childhood. My name is Paul and remember, keep playing with your food.